The Lacour Trio band, consisting of 3 male members, is seen singing and playing music outside on the patio of a building on the Magnolia Plantation in Derry, Louisiana. From left to right, Catrice Lacour, a white Creole male, wears a plain black shirt, black pants, and white dress shoes. He is also playing the accordion, singing, and dancing. Rainy Lacour, a white Creole male, wears a black hat, a black shirt, and black pants. He is sitting down playing the drums. Denver Shoup Jr., a white male with long hair and glasses, wears a black t-shirt and black pants. He is standing playing the guitar.
Rolling. Ready.
All right. Ooh, let me get another drink. Hey, Shane.
Hey.
Shane, that's my mama right there.
Hey, how you doing?
Mom, that's Shane.
I got here about 1. You guys started.
Huh?
Is that your first song?
That was the first one.
Well, I heard it.
Mm-hmm.
Darn good. You guys are in rare form today. It's like you've been practicing daily, and here you haven't played since March or something?
Yeah. Well, we had a show last week on Friday. That was the first one since March. Somebody at the up in Lom's Gin wanted something at their house, and we're able to do it for. Okay. We're gonna do another song called Zydeco Dance.
Catrice?
Yeah, I'm finna introduce it.
Yeah,
That's
introduce
you
each song, and maybe say something just a little bit about it.
This one kind of feels like Zydeco shoes. All right, the next song is called Zydeco Dance. It's just when I was writing these, I just wanted to kind of do some kind of happy song. You know, everybody always sings about losing their girlfriend, or everybody's singing about the coronavirus now, and so I just felt like all the songs we did should have been kind of happy. So this one here is called Zydeco Dance. some fun. If you want to dance, just take my hand. We slide to the left, we slide to the right. Now you're looking real good, doing the Zydeco dance. Come on, everybody, let's have some fun. If you want to dance, just take my hand. We slide to the left, we slide to the right. Now you're looking real good, doing the Zydeco dance. Talk to me, devil. Okay. Ooh, give me another sip of Zero Gatorade. The next thing we're going to do is a song that's called the Creole Waltz. Everybody always asks me to play a waltz. So we got one that's called the Creole Waltz that we normally play when they start asking for that thing. And then I come up with this elaborate story about how this song came about. We're going to play it for you right now. Everybody ready? All right. All right, we're finna do another song for you. Our next song is called the Commissary Two-Step. And say, Commissary Two-Step, really? There's a place now that's opened up, and on Sundays, they do a Zydeco breakfast, kind of like what they do down in South Louisiana, but they only do it once a month. They do it every first Saturday of the month. And so I spend many mornings coming in from a set or playing in Monroe or Shreveport, and then we get in about 3 o'clock in the morning, and then you have to get up and be ready to go for 8 o'clock. I mean, you have to go through the door at the place. It's, 6:30, and then be set up ready to go, which is, so anyway, it's a struggle sometimes, and so we just want to do a song. I don't know, it doesn't make me think about the place. I just thought the place deserves a song. So I don't know if it'll catch on or not. We're going to find out, I guess. Yeah. Yep. This one is called the Commissary Two-Step. Here we go, Randy. Kind of got to feel like holler. Now, don't you know, there's a place to go. All you need to know is how to Zydeco. It don't cost no money to have a good time. 2 steps to the east, 2 steps to the west. The Commissary Two-Step, just like the rest. Don't have no money to lead a good time. Now, don't you know, there's a place to go. All you need to know is how to Zydeco. It don't cost no money to have a good time. 2 steps to the east, 2 steps to the west. Doing the Commissary Two-Step, just like the rest. It don't cost no money to have a good time. Help them, Denver. Did y'all catch that? I didn't know this thing. I started to dance, but that thing is kind of slippy. I lost my balance. When Shane called me, he said, we're going to do a virtual concert. And then he said, well, where do you want to do it? And I started thinking about all kinds of places. I figured people would say, let's do it at the house. Let's do it over here. And I thought, since one of my oldest relatives, or they had a band called the Lacour Band, it was Nook and Dooman. If you get a shot of this before you go, that's got a picture of the band right there, and it's actually them on this front porch playing. And when people would come in on the weekend to sell cotton or get supplies or whatever kind of trading they were going to do in this area, Nook and Doomer would be out here playing, and it was an upright bass and stuff like that. And I noticed that sometimes when you hear these kind of things, or like even when you see the older bands like Clifton Chenier and all of these great guys, sometimes they would go in the hall, and like nowadays you have drums, guitar, keyboard, you got a bass player, you got backup singers, you got all these lights. But back then it used to just be an accordion and a drum set, or sometime an accordion and a bass. And that was it. And people was in there having just as good a time as if they had all that other stuff lumped into that thing. Like all these people on the stage playing, which is not a bad thing. So I just kind of wanted to do a song that was not necessarily acoustic, because we have things plugged up so that you can hear them. But this is kind of a song that made me think about those olden days. It made me think about these guys sitting on this porch. Probably the temperature was about like it is right now, just playing away. So anyway, this song is called Coming Home to See You. We're going to try and get through this thing here. Here we go. I'm coming home to see you. Ooh, I'm coming home to see you. Take a turn left and take a turn right. I'm coming home to see you. Take a turn left and take a turn right. I'm coming home to see you. Who's that boiling and crackling, crackling? I'm coming home to see you. Won't be long till I'll be home. I'm coming home to see you. Take a turn right, I'm coming home to see you. Take a turn left and take a turn right, I'm coming home to see you. Who's that boiling and crackling, crackling? I'm coming home to see you. Won't be long till I'll be gone, I'm coming home to see you. Thank y'all very much for supporting our folk festival. We hope you continue to support our folk festival on years to come. And I hope to see you at one of them live. Thank y'all very much and good night.
Dr. Shane Rasmussen interviews the Lacour Trio band. Dr. Rasmussen, a white male with glasses, wears a mask, an orange plaid long-sleeve button-up shirt, and black dress pants.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for meeting with me. This is the Lacour Trio, and if you could introduce yourselves real quick.
Sure. I'm Catrice Lacour. I play the accordion, bass, trumpet, and I do singing.
My name's Rainey Lacour. I play drums.
Timbershoot Jr., do guitar and vocals.
And this is a family band.
Yeah, you could say it.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I like a good goulash. You just throw stuff in there.
Yeah.
Shut
Okay.
up and make it happen. Yeah.
So you have been playing together how long?
Rainey and I, Rainey close to 30 years.
Yeah.
We did some tours over in Korea with the U.S.O. shows for military troops. traveled across the United States. We worked for Royal Caribbean for about 6 years, different bands.
Right.
But yeah, it's been a while in Denver. How long has this make?
Let's see, I've been with them since 2007.
2007. So do the math on that one.
Yeah, 13.
Yeah, 13 years, something like that. Yeah, we moved home about 12 years ago. And this band actually formed from tragedy. We had a singer in the band. Her name was Marva Bell years ago. And she passed away. And we had all of these dates booked. And so, and out here, finding musicians that, you know, want to work quite a bit, you know, is not the easiest thing. And you'll change a lot of them. So we just had dates coming up. So we just said, well, let's just go there. And then I just started doing a lot of the singing, and then it ended up me being all of the singing. And then we always played Zydeco music in the other stuff. Like when we're in Korea, we throw it in, you know, because we have to do a lot of rock or whatever. It depends on what bass you were. You know, basses had different mixtures of people, some older, some younger. So we would mix it in, man. And then we moved home 12 years ago. I just was listening to what was going on, and I think it was it was a big deal when they had somebody like Keith Frank or Buckwheat Zydeco would come to town, and I'm thinking to myself, well, I mean, yes, they're famous, but we could have that right here. We don't have to invite anybody in. And so that's why we started doing a lot of the cover stuff, music that they did, that people were familiar with, and then that thing just took off, and we've been pretty busy. Pretty busy.
Well, you are a working band. How many gigs do you think you play a year?
We average about 3 gigs a week.
Okay.
Let's see, what is that now? Sometimes it's more than that. I mean,
sometimes 3 gigs in one day.
Sometimes 2 in a day. It depends, you know. And then I'm a school teacher, so sometimes I get off at 3:30. And then I'll drive, and Rainey will be waiting for me in the parking lot at Super One, right there behind Sonic.
Right.
And I'll get in the car there, and we'll be driving. Let's see if we go into Monroe. We'll be driving on Old 34, and I'll be sitting there taking my suit off and putting my pants on while Rainey's driving. You know, it's just, you don't realize how tired you are and how much you're doing until you get a break, and then you're like, wow.
Well, this has been a break.
This has been a long break.
An unintended break. You played a few days ago, and since that, before that, it was March. Is that
March? Our last gig was March the 14th. Was our last show, and since then everything's been just shut down.
How does it feel to play again?
Oh, it's good.
It's great, man. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's good.
Now your sound, it's not just the Zydeco though. I mean, you got the R&B in there, and you got sort of the traditional Zydeco, but you also have a little of the Creole Lala.
Yeah,
can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, we do a mixture of stuff. You know, Lala music and Zydeco are obviously different. I think that from listening to it, it's like they've taken the, you know, like old blues and old rock and roll, and the music is the same. I always think that 2 things is what changes to being Zydeco. Number one, you put that accordion, that scrub board in that thing, and it'd be the same music, but it's the sound of it. It has that Louisiana sound, you know, and I think that's an important thing, you know.
And
How
would you characterize the Lala music?
Well, I think that would be more of a 2-step kind of music, you know. Of course, it's waltzes too, but I think that the difference between the two would be more of the kind of bluesy, kind of up-tempo, I want to say kind of rock and roll, Texas rock, and then they put that accordion and stuff in it, and it just gives it a whole different flavor. It's just kind of like if you cooking. You know, you make a steak, you put salt, pepper, and then you got that Zatarain. You put that Zatarain on there, and it's like it's something else. It's like it's salt, it's pepper, it's hot. You know, it's a combination of things. And that's the same thing that the instruments do to music. It evolves it. It changes the sound. Yeah, and it turns it into Zydeco. It turns it into this wonderful music. You know, I think a lot of what guys like Nook and Duma are our cousins that played on this very porch, which is why we're here. I think they did la-la music. They did a lot of la-la music. Sometimes they would have drums. Sometimes it was accordion and bass. Sometimes it was just the accordion. You know, it wasn't a full band like necessarily like what we have. And I think that back then, them people were just happy whatever they had, you know. And so it's a different time.
Whatever they could get for the dance.
Whatever they could get, whether it would be here on this porch and on an afternoon when people just getting their check and out there working for tips, or maybe they at Woods Hall, which is right down the road here. Whatever they did, you know, that was, you know, they're just having a good time. You know, I'm sure the money that they made was extra. Who wouldn't want that, you know? But,
Yeah, but you know, you're playing that many gigs a year. I don't think the money is your primary motivation.
No, it doesn't hurt, but it's about the music. It's about having people get into it. You know, you go there and they're just sitting there, and then all of a sudden, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? They're out there having a good time. And for me, I don't know about the rest of them, but for me, it relieves the stress of the day. Most of the times I'm in school all day, or on the weekends, doesn't mean that I'm leaving that classroom.
Yeah.
Things still to be done. So it's kind of an outlet. It's a release. I can just let myself go. Yeah. You know, unlike I could do if I'm in a school setting.
Well, I mean, teaching is performative, you know, but you're performing in a different way. When I see the Lacour Trio, then you get that bass going, and you start dancing.
Yeah.
And you bring people in, and you get them dancing. I mean, you know, you call the line dance.
Yeah.
You know.
That's it.
But you're leading it.
Yeah. That's how it should be done. I tell you, to be honest with you, we were in Korea and we had, I think it was 2 or 3 girls that was fronting the band at that time. 4 girls fronting the band at the time. What a nightmare that was. But usually the government will bring 4 American bands overseas to play at these U.S. bases. At that time, we had 56 U.S. bases in South Korea. I don't know what the number is now, but I know they closed a lot. But
I had no idea.
Yeah, there was a lot left over from the Korean War. And so we would come there and we'd spend 6 months there, and it would take us that long to go. Like they talk about the Panmunjom River. Well, there's a place up there. The first soldier that was killed in the Korean War was, I think his name was Boniface, and they named the camp Boniface. And you can literally see the Panmunjom River from this military base. And we would go way up there to play. It was up in, they call it Area 3, or 2 ID. You had to have 2 forms of ID to get that close to the North Korean border. And so, we go up there, we play, and have a good time. Yeah.
I kind of like the idea of you guys really as cultural ambassadors for the U.S., but also Louisiana music.
Yeah. It's somebody has to spread it. You know, it's a good spread. It's a good, you know.
I mean, you know, this is the thing that people need is contagious, right?
Yeah.
Because they hear it and they want to hear it again.
People come from all over, come to our little town right here to Natchitoches. Like I say, sometimes we're on Front Street playing in Mama's Blues Room. When we do the Zydeco breakfast, people come in from Arkansas. They Facebook us. When y'all playing? Y'all playing that right now. They're waiting to see when we're going to start playing live again. I keep telling everybody, wait for phase 3. Phase 3 is the key. So, people come from all over to hear this music.
We even had people from Germany to hire us. They rented.
That's right. I forgot about that.
They hired us from Germany. A whole group, right there in Mama's, and they came in, and very nice people. You could tell they really loved the music, and nobody else could go in there. It's just them. It must have been about 20 of them, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
They bought the place out.
Yeah, they saw us on the internet,
and none of them spoke English except one person.
But they still felt it.
Oh yeah. They kept
they
it full. They stayed out there dancing.
Yeah. I mean, they're not. You know, when I think of so many bands in this in American culture are party bands. You know, cover bands. You know, and but you guys are a Zydeco band, and there's something different there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not just because this is a music that's not just a party band. This is it's far more than that because it's the music of the culture.
And that's what people expect. When you come to Louisiana, if you don't hear that, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, it's like going to Bourbon Street, not taking a drink. I mean, it's you know, I think it's expected. I'm surprised we don't hear more of it, to tell you the truth.
Are you able to get to interest some of your students in the kind of music you're playing?
We and there's not a whole lot of literature with it in there, but there is some pieces that I've done with the kids for competition.
Is that right?
It was a scrub board written in for it, and I'm working on a piece now for orchestra where it actually has the accordion in it. Of course, that's not done. Hopefully, when school starts, you know, we'll be able to kind of tinker around with it.
Right.
Man, the kids come out to hear me play. Parents bring their kids, come out and hear us play.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times they'll be sitting right there in mama's, you know, drinking Sprite, you know, and watching us play. You know, I think that's kind of why the program's taken off over at the Middle Lab School. We have one of the largest orchestras in the state. They just played Carnegie Hall last year. And I think that's got a lot to do with it. They see somebody like me, and it's not the normal teacher. It's something they can relate to. So they want to be around that. And so, yeah, there you go.
I mean, you just seem so happy when you're playing.
Yeah, it's a good time.
I mean, that's really what's infectious.
Mm-hmm.
Is that there's this love of life when it comes to Zydeco music.
Once you hear that first boom, it's it. It's kind of like a race. Those runners be at the race. We'll be sitting around there. Yeah, you ready? Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Boom, and then the light goes on.
Yeah.
You know, good night, everybody. That's when the light goes off, and then you wind down. That's it. You know, and between the start and the finish, you know, you're kind of like you're somewhere else, man. You know, you're there, but you're not there. You're somewhere else. You know?
Yeah.
It's a good feeling.
So now, you guys play a lot of traditional music. You play a lot of traditional sounds and songs. But you wrote some songs, specifically the songs that you play today, were specifically written for this engagement, this festival.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about those songs?
Well, one of the songs that we did at the very beginning is an instrumental, and it's a fast instrumental. Everything was done on the accordion, drums, and guitar. You know, we use the bass of the accordion. A lot of times I just play on the key parts, but that was also bass and keys. And it was called Ra-Cha-Cha, which is my uncle. And I don't know if you came up Highway 1 just before you crossed the bridge at Derry, you'll have noticed this building right there. That used to be an old nightclub called Leo's Place.
Really?
Yeah, it was an old nightclub years ago.
No, I passed that coming in.
Yeah, that's an old nightclub. My dad used to play his band. He used to have all kind of bands come through there. It was called Leo's Place, and we use that word Ra-Cha-Cha. And the song is not a cha-cha. It's just what he said. And he was like, you know, they say that they talk about the Creole cowboys, and they always show you a picture of this guy that got dust all over him. But my uncle was a Creole cowboy, but it wasn't like a dirty one. You know, it was like he had the sparkly belt, you know, and he had the boots with the chrome tips on them, and he even had a holster. He'd be in his place. Like, damn, it was nothing to walk around with a gun on your hip, you know. He had the fancy hats with the little necklaces. So he's kind of like a fancy cowboy. And so that song made me think about him. Another song that we did was called, what was it? Zydeco, Commissary Two-Step, which is a tribute to the Cane River Commissary, because that's where we do our Zydeco breakfast. And they do a lot of two-steps and a lot of waltzes there. And it'll be 8 o'clock in the morning, and they're passing the mimosas and the Bloody Marys. As soon as we play the first song, they've jumped up and they're ready to dance. And so I thought it'd be nice to do a song for that place because it's at Lom's Gin, and it's not inside the gin, but it's next to the gin. I guess that was an old storeroom, someplace where they kept tools. And they bought that thing and gutted it out and built a pretty nice restaurant in there.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah. And the other songs is just general songs. I got a Zydeco waltz. You know, people always ask me to play a waltz. And so it's just kind of an instrumental waltz because I just love the sound of the accordion. some of the notes you play is kind of like some things you just don't need lyrics to.
Uh-huh.
Just the music is just good enough. So yeah, those songs were all written for this, in tribute to the festival. Nook and Duma Lacour, they call them the Lacour Band, which was long before our time. They played right in this spot, and we're playing right in this spot 100 years later. Isn't that ironic?
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a lot of
amazing.
music. A lot of music was played out of our family.
So this is the continuing legacy.
This is it. This. And I don't know who's gonna. We don't have kids. Denver has children. But my brother and I, we don't have any kids. So maybe some of these kids, some of the 100 kids I got in the music program at Lab, maybe some of them will pick it up. That's my adopted kids. So yeah.
Well, this has been an honor to be with you.
I appreciate it.
I wanted to present you with this. This is, it says on this plaque, for a contribution to the preservation of Louisiana's cultural traditions, Catrice Lacour is inducted into the Louisiana Folklife Center's Hall of Master Folk Artists, Northwestern State University of Louisiana, July 2020. And we are so honored to induct you. And you are really, I think, a cultural ambassador still.
Thank you.
And the band is just a force of good and positivity and continuing this tradition throughout Louisiana and wherever you play.
Yeah.
And so, on behalf of the state of Louisiana, Louisiana Folklife Center and NSU, thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, it wouldn't be possible without the band. I mean, they've been with me the whole way. It's a great honor. I thank everybody who considered me for the award, and I thank y'all for inducting me. Hopefully, I'll continue the tradition, keep the love alive.
You're doing it. Our theme this year is celebrating Louisiana's French cultures.
Mm-hmm.
And I should say that in closing, Catrice Lacour is our honorary festival chair for this year.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for all that you do, all of you.
Thank you for having us.